Listen up, Marks. It's time for another Crimson Ring podcast. Oh, you didn't think you were going to get one this week? Well, too bad you're getting one. So, I'm Nathan, and this is Doug. Say hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Good job.
Thanks. I've been practicing in the mirror.
That's right. It's a no DQ podcast, which stands for No Director of Quality. If you listened to last week, you'll know why, and going forth. So, Doug, do the thing that we always do every week. Okay. Spin it up.
Welcome to the most professionally unprofessional professional wrestling podcast in the game, featuring your undisputed podcast tag team champions of the world. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. So we're going to do news.
Let's do some news.
This is what we do. Okay. So, in news and tweets and Twitters.
Yep.
I'm going to get my paper here. I'm sounding professional. And I don't want to start it on a sad note, so we'll skip that one for a second. Did you hear what's happening at All Out?
What's happening at All Out?
Darby Allin versus Joey Janela versus Jimmy Havoc in a triple threat match.
That's, I don't know how I feel about that one. Like, it seems like it's the weird booking that the WWE does. These guys were all just there, unless they're building it up because, like, Darby lost them the match.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be cool. And it's going to be Darby.
Only if he does a cough and drop off the top of a ladder.
Like, he tries to kill himself every match. And Jimmy Havoc tries to kill the other person every match. And Joey Janela is too afraid to even fight Enzo. So, I feel like Darby's going to die.
Okay. I'm excited for this match because I'm a fan of wrestling, and I'm not afraid.
Did you hear who else was going to be at All Out?
Booker T?
I wish. But
okay.
He was on stage this week, Booker T was, at the Raw Reunion show when Hogan was cutting his promo, and he was staring such, like, bullets into the back of Hogan's head. Like, he could not hide the hatred for that man, and it was great.
Hogan apologized.
Yeah, I don't think that count. I don't think it was good enough.
Okay.
Not for Booker T.
In other news.
Well, no, who's going to be there?
CM Punk?
Yeah, that's right, guys. CM Punk is now super official for All Out. We are reporting it here first.
Well, I mean, I've been calling it for a while, but that's fine.
Yeah,
but okay.
This is the official announcement that CM Punk will be at All Out.
But wait, guys, I was on Twitter last night, and I seen that CM Punk was getting pissed off about people assuming he was going to be there. One fan even tweeted at him and asked if he was really willing to disappoint his fans, and all he said back was, yes.
That's because you're getting yourself worked into a shoot, brother.
Brother.
Look, let's look at the facts. He will be at Starrcast 3, which is unofficially sponsored by AEW.
Unofficially.
Tony Khan's favorite wrestler and the person he wants most is CM Punk. The whole reason they put All Out, the last pay-per-view before their weekly show, in Chicago was to entice CM Punk to come, because it's literally 5 minutes from his front door.
Okay. But he said he wasn't going to.
No, he said he would be willing to disappoint his fans. He did not say he wasn't going to.
Okay. I guess I'm getting worked. Wait, is that right? Is that the term?
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking mark. All right, so moving forward with some news. Oh, hey. Jungle Boy paid some respects to his father.
Yeah, I saw that. He posted a nice little Twitter video and climbing a billboard.
That was promoting his father's movie?
Yeah, I think it's like the last movie Luke was in before he passed.
I don't know what movie that was.
I don't either. I did see, while you're looking that up, did you know Pac used to be a Jungle Boy?
I know Pac used to be Dragon Gate champion.
Yeah, he not no more. Which, does that mean we're finally going to get him in AEW? Because supposedly they've been the issue with not letting him appear?
I mean, I could care less at this point.
I like him. I like him so much. He's such a good wrestler.
He's got weird ears.
Yeah, he does. He looks like an elf.
Yeah.
Can we say that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Is that objectifying fantastical races?
Hashtag D&D.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Ties in. Ember Moon and him are going to form an intergender tag team.
Yeah.
What
Scott. That's the name of the thing. With Luke Perry.
Scott?
Yeah, Scott. I don't know what that is.
It's a movie.
That Luke Perry was in.
Yeah.
Is it called Great Scott?
Well, it's called Good Scott. It's before he became the head engineer.
Shut up. It's just Scott. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like when he's still in the academy. He's not even like that good yet. It's like Bad Scott almost. In other news, what about them Otis tweets?
You mean the ones with Mandy Rose?
Yeah.
Where he like confesses his love for Mandy, saying his peach.
Yeah. I think Otis might be like rapidly climbing the list of my favorite wrestlers.
He was already at the top of mine. He does a caterpillar.
Yeah. Well, no, I like him, but he's just so goofy and awkward. The spot he did where he's gonna suicide dive, like, is just probably one of my favorite things in wrestling in the past year.
Because he like ran up, then he didn't do it. It
He
was
like
great.
gingerly climbed over, through the ropes. He wasn't going over.
No, he sure wasn't.
All right. Other news. We've got Cody and MJF teaming for a AAA match.
Yeah. Who are they wrestling?
They are wrestling Taurus and Daga.
Oh, okay. I
don't
have
know
no
who
idea
they
who they
are.
are. Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
We need to watch more AAA wrestling, I guess.
Yeah.
And so do you fans.
Other big news. The New Day celebrated their 5th year anniversary this week.
Of kissing babies?
Kissing babies and shaking hands. Which is better than kissing hands and shaking babies.
Viceland renewed Dark Side of the Ring for a second season.
A supersized second season.
I was getting ready to say that, but
I'm
McDonald's got rid of supersized.
But their large fries are the same size as their old supersized fries. So all they did was change the name to appease the health people.
Yeah, but you don't get a gallon of cola no more.
It was always just a liter.
There's a Super Trooper joke here.
Yeah.
Okay. And we missed it. So, moving forward.
Will Ospreay and Randy Orton want to fight each other real bad.
And I say, let them fight.
I would love it. When Randy wants to wrestle, he's phenomenal. When he doesn't want to wrestle, he's still hilarious because you can just see the look on his face about how much he doesn't care. So I'm for it.
Me too. Sami Zayn was on the Twitter machine.
Oh, yeah?
Hashtag Raw Reunion was a joke. If I'm still hanging on to this business years after I'm done, you can punch me in the face. Like most great artists, I am vastly underappreciated in my own time. You have me now, and you're blowing it. Too busy missing glory days that actually sucked. Yeah, little shots fired on the Twitter machine.
Let's go to some more positive news.
Okay.
This week, Impact star Kiera Hogan came out as LBGTQ, and she is in a relationship with Diamante, a former Impact knockout, and now they are both with the Women of Wrestling promotion, and I think I'm really happy for that. I'm glad that they found love.
Yeah, man, I support this.
Yeah. So congratulations.
So Lacey Evans got on the Twitter machine and basically said, legends equal ya nasties. Something along those lines, I believe. And Alondra Blaze / Medusa / retired wrestler was on the Raw Reunion
Retired
show.
wrestler / current monster truck driver.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. She put, you'd be lucky to be considered a legend. You failed in the military. You live in a portable trailer. Drag your kid and husband around. Your hubby looked at me, gave me a compliment, and said, honey, maybe you could be more like Alondra. Your yesterday regurgitated garbage. To which Lacey replied, "Shooting in the real shots, ? I must have got under your wrinkly skin. Bless her heart. I'm typing this 8 years honorably discharged from serving our country while in said trailer overlooking lots of land and money in the bank. As far as my family goes, hubby gets it every night and baby is happy." Are we going to see a feud here later on?
I sort of want one, but I just want it to be a one-off thing where Lacey beats Medusa.
Yeah,
and
there's no reason to put.
Give Lacey some more
Medusa
credibility.
over. Yeah.
She's been on the losing end of an actual wrestler for like 3 months, so it'd be nice for her to get a win. Not all Twitter interactions were negative this week, though. Xavier tweeted out to his homeboy Rusev, asking where he'd been all this time, to which Rusev responded with a picture of him sitting on a toilet in a very nice marble bathroom, I might add, saying he's been here, and if he wants to hang out, he could come over.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so my vote is Rusev comes back, joins the New Day.
All right.
The new Rusev Day.
John Moxley, in news, said some things to Kenny Omega on the YouTube show The Road to All Out, episode 2. John Moxley said, "This ain't a," and then there was an expletive word, "video game, dude. You only get one life. I am trying to hurt you."
I love John Moxley.
And anyone that listens to this podcast knows that.
He is the best thing in wrestling in the last 15 years.
Do you have any more news?
Ring of Honor finally issued a statement about their assaulting of a fan about a month and a half ago. A month after we all forgot about it.
I'm sure this was deep dove into.
Yeah, Bully Ray, who is one of the big wigs at Ring of Honor right now, decided to investigate the incident involving Bully Ray and found that Bully Ray had did nothing wrong.
I'm glad it was thoroughly investigated by Bully
And
Ray.
They said that was all they were going to comment on about it, and that they were still dedicated to bringing the best wrestling that they can to all of their fans.
Awesome.
Which turns out to be about 15 people now, because everyone is leaving Ring of Honor in droves.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they can find jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good time in professional wrestling to be a professional wrestler. There's a lot of renaissance, I guess is the word I want to use. There's a lot of places you can go right now. But it's not really the wrestlers that are leaving Ring of Honor yet. I mean, I'm sure they will be soon. It's the fans. They've just given up. And I can't imagine Sinclair, being a money guy, is going to be too happy about that.
Well, you know what? That's okay, because there's plenty of places to go now. So, why don't we transition from news and Twitters and, Doug, you want to give us a G1 update?
Yeah, okay. We had 3 more matches since our last recording. We had an A block match on the July 18th in Tokyo. Kenta defeated Lance Archer. Evil defeated Sonata. Okada defeated Bad Luck Fail. Tanahashi defeated Zack Sabre Jr. And Ibushi that's not a word. Ibushi beat Will Ospreay. We had a B block match on Friday, July 19th. Takagi defeated Taichi. Jeff Cobb defeated Juice Robinson. Yano defeated Jay White. Naito finally picked up a win and beat Gato. And John Moxley defeated Ishii in what was a phenomenal match. You guys should all check that out on YouTube. That one was brutal and it was gross, but it was gorgeous. And you all need to watch that.
Gross and gorgeous.
Yeah, the Double G.
The John Moxley story.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we do our DQP True Wrestlewood stories, that's going to be the title of John Moxley's.
I guess that's a segment now.
Welcome to a new podcast. All right, we also had an A block match on Saturday, the 20th. Zack Sabre Jr. finally picks up a win against Bad Luck Fail via countout. Tanahashi defeated Lance Archer. Kenta wins again against Evil. Ibushi beats Sonata, and Okada defeats Will Ospreay. So our current standings for the A block are Kenta and Okada with 8 points, the most you could possibly have at this point. Lance Archer, Evil, Tanahashi, and Ibushi all have 4. That's 2 wins. Bad Luck Fail, Sonata, and Will Ospreay all have 1 win, so that's 2 points, and Zack Sabre Jr. is still winless. In the B block, they've wrestled 1 less match so far, so the highest you can get is 6 points. Jon Moxley, solo winner there with 6. Ishii, Juice Robinson, Yano, and Takagi all have 4. Goto, Taichi, Jeff Cobb, and Naito all have 2, and Jay White is winless with none.
Okay.
So we've got about 3 more weeks of this with the A block winner versus the B block winner on August 13th.
So you think it's going to be Kenta versus Moxley?
I don't think it's going to be Kenta versus Moxley.
Okada versus Moxley.
I do think it's going to be Kenta versus Moxley, but I think Kenta's going to win. And then we'll have Kenta versus Okada. I am shocked at how poorly Naito's doing.
It's all right. It's all going to work itself out.
Yeah. It's
It'll
good.
be okay.
It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
No, there's tons of good wrestling out there. You don't have to pay for anything. I mean, as long as you got internet, which most everyone does, you can just get on YouTube and look up most of these matches.
Yeah, I do recommend the Moxley Ishii match. It is it's like savage poetry.
I'm going to do a spotlight, Doug.
Do a spotlight for me, buddy.
All right. Last week we talked about Bruiser Brody and how it was the anniversary of his death. How many years was that? Like 31?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 31 years
I had
ago.
to math, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So we're going to do a spotlight on him. Frank Donald Goodish.
Not the greatish, but the goodish.
I'm sure he would have appreciated that. He earned his great fame under the ring name Bruiser Brody. He also worked as King Kong Brody, the Masked Marauder, and Red River Jack. Over the years, Brody became synonymous with hardcore wrestling, a brawling style that often saw one or more of the participants bleeding by the time the match was over. In his prime, he worked as a special attraction wrestler in North America, making select appearances for World Class Championship Wrestling, World Wrestling Federation, Central States Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida, and American Wrestling Association. Among others, he also worked in Japan, and he was huge over in Japan. Not like Joey Ryan, but similar. All right. So if you get a chance to watch The Dark Side of the Ring, you can learn a lot about his death and
Circumstances.
Yeah, circumstances, stories. There's a lot that goes into it because in Puerto Rico, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not like the laws of the land here. It's the laws of their land.
Which
And
is no laws.
pretty much. They considered wrestling serious. They were all worked. It was real to them.
They were all PPRs in PR.
So basically, when you played a character, you played that character all the time, and the fans hated you and would throw shit at you and were very much into it.
So did all of these guys move to WCW in 1999?
Pretty much. Behind the scenes, Goodish was very protective of his in-ring image and hardly ever agreed to lose matches, building into a reputation of being volatile. He would only on special occasions actually intentionally hit or hurt opponents during a match, contrary to predetermined nature of professional wrestling. His in-ring work and wrestling persona earned him the induction into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame, Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame, and the WWE Hall of Fame. While his wrestling persona had a reputation of being brutal and being uncontrollable, his personal life was described as completely opposite by his second wife, Barbara, especially when it came to their son. Goodish was attacked and stabbed in the dressing room in Puerto Rico and later died from his wounds. The attacker was never convicted of the crime, a situation that led many U.S. wrestlers to not work in Puerto Rico for a long time afterward. The Bruiser Brody murder remains one of the most controversial incidents in history of professional wrestling. And Bret Hart talks about this in his book, and Mick Foley talks about it in his book. I want to cover Tony Atlas's statements next week, and also the statements from Dutch Mantell, because I think Dutch showed up later, but Tony Atlas was there.
So he knows.
Yeah. And the guy that stabbed him but was never convicted of the murder was a undercard wrestler there, and I think he worked as one of the Marauders, and he didn't like the way that Brody treated him. Basically, he beat him up in one of the matches and really worked him over pretty good, and
but
the guy was pissed off about it. Yeah.
His name was Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he took some liberties there, Doug.
Well, I think...
I'm not saying it was okay that the guy stabbed him. It's absolutely not ever good to kill anybody, but what would Bruiser Brody have done? Like, what changes would he have made to professional wrestling had he not passed away?
Okay, well, he would have knocked Gorilla out of Puerto Rico for sure.
But he was buying him out.
Right. But a lot of the things I've read said that Gorilla wasn't really happy about that.
Well, the one thing I've learned about professional wrestling is older wrestlers never want to be pushed out. They want to leave on their own terms.
Yeah.
But they never leave when they're supposed to.
That is, and I don't know that that's older wrestlers. I feel like that's happening now.
Just in life in general?
In a certain federation, yeah.
What federation are you talking about?
Well, it's like a world entertainment wrestling
Hollywood.
thing. Yeah.
Oh. Hogan.
Yeah, no, Hogan for sure, man. After this week, yes. And Flair, too. Like, let the dude go to bed.
Yeah, because it's way past his bedtime.
Yeah.
Transitioning from this, we have a new sponsor for the podcast, and we got a little commercial for you to play, or for us to play.
You to listen to, us to play.
Yeah, PPR has a commercial he's going to play right now, so we're going to cut to that.
Hello, Crimson Ring listeners. This is your favorite beer maker, Arnie, and I'm here to introduce to you my new beer. It was perfected in the hills of Austria and my secret laboratory, and I have decided today to announce that I will be selling Big Bitch Brew worldwide. And to bring in, I brought in Hype Man to scat along to make it sound more musical and interesting. So, Lou with Strong Arms is here to help me promote my beer.
Thanks for having me on here.
He makes it sound so musical. Thank you. Okay, so we continue along with my promotionary commercial to do today.
Commercial.
That's why I brought him in, so it sounds more pleasing to the ear hole. All right, so turn in your ear holes to me, Arnie. Very nice. Thank you very much. All right, so here we go. Well, my beer, Big Bitch Brew, is the first pre-workout beer of its own kind.
Gonna work out.
We are going to use only the finest ingredients in Austria,
All of the Europe.
such as sweet potatoes.
Potato.
We are going to use zucchinis, squashes, and cucumbers.
Maybe an eggplant or two if you know what's good for you.
And now I'll ask you this, Mr. Sly. How many cucumbers can you fit in a tiny lady?
I can only do one.
Not many, I tell you that. I tried. So, as far as that goes, this beer has much protein, the carbohydrates, the BCAAs, and amino acids you need in your everyday life.
Every day for you, honey.
It is fantastic. It's full of no malarkey.
No malarkey over here.
Special ingredient is pumpernickel.
Oh, that's a kind of bread, I think.
And very challenging to say with this accent. So, when you don't want to be bamboozled by crappy beers that do nothing for you to not get you pumped up, don't be a nincompoop. Get a Big Bitch Brew.
I see hops of gold. Some barley, too. Go buy yourself a Big Bitch Brew. And you'll think to yourself, What a wonderful beer.
That's right. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Well, that sounds interesting. And I look forward to trying one of these when I get my workout on.
All right. Sounds good to me, too.
I'm going to get swole.
Swole AF, brother.
I love biscuits. All right, so you want to talk about the plane ride?
I do. I want to talk about, first, Insurrection 2002, which is the event that led to the plane ride from hell.
Ooh.
We had an Intercontinental Championship match with RVD defeating Eddie Guerrero. Trish Stratus and Jacqueline defeated Jazz and Molly Holly in a tag match. X-Pac beat Bradshaw, which will be very important later. There were several hardcore championship matches. They worked similar to the 24/7 championship we have now with R-Truth and Drake Maverick. Booker T defeated Stevie Richard. Crash Holly then defeated Booker T. Booker T then redefeated Crash Holly, and Stevie Richards beat Booker T. So at the end of the day, we're back to square one, which is how the 24/7 title works.
Yep. Dance break.
We also had the Hardy Boys defeating the tag team of Brock Lesnar and Shawn Stasiak.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's a weird, I'm going to read that again because that's just a weird thing to hear.
Do it again.
The Hardy Boys defeated the tag team of Brock Lesnar and Shawn Stasiak.
That shouldn't have happened. And wasn't Shawn Stasiak known as Meat?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, not anymore. That
That was an Attitude Era name.
Yeah, now
Meat.
he's Shawn Stasiak.
Okay.
Well, then he was Shawn Stasiak. And maybe he's still Shawn Stasiak. I don't know.
He's still Meat, too.
All right, the WWF European Championship, Spike Dudley defeated William Regal to retain his title. Stone Cold Austin defeated The Big Show. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Defeated Big Show.
With special guest referee Ric Flair.
Woo!
And Triple H defeated The Undertaker in the main event.
Question.
Answer.
Did Ric Flair do a count, or did he woo 3 times?
He slapped the mat with vigorous ferocity.
Like it was a chest.
Yeah, he
Okay.
gave that mat so many chops.
I love it.
All of that was the big capstone to their European tour in 2002.
I bet the plane ride back was good.
It was not. It was known as the plane ride from hell, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so May 5th, 2002, which for all you conspiracy theorists out there, I know this is the 17th episode. May 5th, 5 divided by 5 is 1, 20 minus 2 is 18, 18 minus 1 is 17. I get it, okay? We didn't plan it like this. It's not some deep conspiracy, bro. This is just how things happen.
Yeah, Vince Russo.
So, on May 5th, 2002, a number of WWE wrestlers and management flew back from Great Britain to the United States following their European tour. I have some interviews that I've kind of cobbled together from Shane Ryan of Grantland.com, where he talked to both Justin Credible and Sean Waltman. Sean, X-Pac, was stated that everybody had different little deals that they were doing. Some were doing GHB, which was like the roofie, like date rate drug.
Did you preface this with a warning?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Probably should.
Okay, guys. I am quoting people. I am going to repeat what they said in the legal documents that ensued from this plane ride. So there will be some very vulgar language and questionable statements made regarding women.
Yeah. And we do not support these statements or the use of drugs.
No, we don't support anything. We are not athletic supporters.
No, we're not cups.
So that being said, back to the statements. X-Pac, Sean Waltman. A lot of people were doing GHB, getting pilled up, whatever. You could buy GHB in the health food store. It was legal, and that was the reason everybody was doing it. But it fucked you up. And taken in small doses, GHB can give you a buzz and also increases your sex drive. But in large amounts, will put you to sleep, no matter how hard you try to stay awake.
So if you take enough, you're gonna sweep.
Yep, you're going to sweep yourself right off your feet into a coma.
Okay, I like it. Good segue.
So, we got date rape drugs. I can't talk today.
So there were roofies on the plane.
Yep.
Date rape drug.
There were date rape drugs on the plane. Events
What
started.
is this doing on a plane with a bunch of wrestlers?
Apparently, wrestlers used to take this in the 90s to, like, unwind.
Mortified.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like a super PC time.
Oh God.
Events started out pretty innocently with Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall hitting people with shaving cream and running around, and they made the Big Show mad, but nothing really big happened from that. Wrestlers were also reporting handing flight attendants empty syringes and asking them to get rid of them.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I guess the drug test policy was still out.
Right.
Okay. Right.
96 to 2006. This was 2002. So, okay, there were
Triple H was huge during this time.
yeah, there
Not
were
saying anything. It's all natural.
Now, I will say Vince McMahon was not on this plane. Stone Cold was not on this plane. Triple H was not on this plane.
But his syringes. Nope. Can't do that, huh?
Nope. JR, Pat Patterson, and Michael Hayes were on this plane.
Jim Ross has talked about this on some podcasts as well.
Okay, so there were 5 major incidents that I want to talk about and then go into the fallout of each of them. The first one, Kurt Hennig versus Brock Lesnar in a shoot wrestling match on a plane that crashed into the emergency exit door. Now, the plane was in flight, so those things can't really open. But the fact that they were wrestling hard enough to slam into an emergency exit door,
They could open or shouldn't open.
everything I've seen and heard about it is when the plane is in flight at that height, the pressure outside prevents the door from being opened.
So you can't open the plane door.
No.
So all the movies I ever watched were lies.
Except for True Lies. That was actually truths.
I think that beer sponsor would like the fact that you plugged in True Lies.
And that's why I did that.
We
You're welcome,
appreciate you, Arnie.
So, Triple H, X-Pac said, obviously, WWE management made a big deal about it. It's a fucking door. It's impossible for it to open at that altitude. It was really stupid. Vince and Kurt Angle had a takedown tournament in the aisle, but as soon as it happened with Hennig and Lesnar, they made a really big deal about it. Now, that, of course, refers to the previous plane ride from hell that was usurped by this one that had The Undertaker and Kurt Angle and all that with the choking out, and that was in 99.
Let's talk about this plane ride from hell, though.
Yeah.
One at a time. People are going to get confused, think they were all on this plane ride from hell.
So the fallout from this event was Hennig got fired, and unfortunately, less than a year later, was found dead in a Tampa, Florida hotel room of a cocaine overdose. So, all reports are saying that Hennig was the one that brought all the GHB on the plane. Hennig was the one instigating most of this stuff. He had just been brought back from a suspension involving a GHB incident before.
Okay.
Now, I know Brock is young at this time.
Yeah, and he'd never take any growth hormone.
No,
he
of course
wasn't
not.
that big.
But he was a young guy. I feel like he was probably pressured into the wrestling match, especially with as much of a macho boys club as it is. You can't really back down from something like that. You get a
Right.
reputation. I mean, the writing seems like it's on the wall for Hennig here, right? Like,
You'd think. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was all Kurt.
I don't think it was all Kurt. Scott Hall was also on this plane. But I'm saying, like, it's clear to me, and maybe we live in a more, well, obviously we live in a more progressive, open society now than then. But like, he needed help.
And they didn't help him before, anything else could. It was too late. Like, unfortunately, they didn't help, and then a year later it became too late.
And do you think that's why Curtis Axel will forever have a job? Is it one of those things where he feels
but my
guilty?
thing is why is he not getting a push? Why
he
don't
had
many?
the push for a long time. I mean, like, Tamina basically will always have a job because of Jimmy. And Vince feels guilty about Jimmy. Is Axel the same way? Like, does Vince feel guilty about this? So so Curtis Axel's gonna have a job forever?
Oh yeah,
But he's
never going to be his dad.
No, but I don't think Vince does this to make them better than their parents, just to take care of them. It's that weird, like, carny rule set that Vince seems to have, where, you take care of your people
To prevent lawsuits.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
that's what it's all about.
Do you want to move?
Just to show that they're, I'm not going to get in trouble for the negligence.
Do we want to get into the Ric Flair incident next, or do you want to talk about this more?
No. Let's move forward.
Okay, second incident was Ric Flair. He apparently came out in one of his sequined bathrobes, and only his bathrobe, and started to walk around.
You saying he wasn't wearing tidy whities?
He wasn't wearing no tidies of any color.
He was going commando.
Yeah, he was really letting the flare out.
All right, he was swinging in the breeze.
So, according to Grantland.com, two flight attendants, Tara Lynn Capellano and Heidi Doyle, compiled their allegations into a 2004 lawsuit. And chief among these chronicles misdeeds was Flair's sexual aggression. He wore nothing but a jeweled cape and flashed his nakedness, spinning his penis around. He separately grabbed each woman's hand and placed it on his crotch, and then he forcibly detained and restrained Doyle from leaving the back of the galley of the airplane while he sexually assaulted her.
Well, this just got dark.
Just got dark.
Well, I mean, but drugs and stuff like that are like, on yourself. This is different. This is involving, like, another party that's obviously unwilling.
Yeah, so Flair would later insist that there was no truth to these incidents, but the WWE did pay a hefty settlement to keep this out of the courts, which you probably wouldn't do if it didn't happen. So, now Flair is from a different generation that does not make it okay. This is another thing where I feel like somebody should have stopped him way before it got to this point.
Yeah.
Nobody did, and it seemed like he was almost encouraged. They thought it was funny that he was walking around naked.
No. It's
No.
not funny. It's not appropriate.
And it makes me really not like Ric Flair.
I have feelings on that. Like, unfortunately, people can tarnish what they've done, but I don't. I want to say, I think you put it in two different piles. You got their outside life, and then their in the ring life. And Ric Flair did some things that he shouldn't have done in his outside personal life.
He's got 7 ex-wives.
Yeah, and I don't let it diminish what he did in the ring. And I'll even say this: it's kind of like Chris Benoit. It's hard to talk about what he did outside of the ring because it's truly gruesome. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Okay, but everything he did in the ring, there's still great wrestling there. So,
and well, I think some of the difference there is like Chris Benoit basically like drove himself to a mental break through multiple concussions in wrestling, whereas Ric Flair is just like not kind of. He's like a pig. He's a misogynist,
Well, I'll say this, though. I've heard lots of wrestlers talk about other wrestlers, and yeah, people do bad things, but if they weren't truly, like, good people, I don't feel like their brothers in the ring would stand up for them like the people do for other wrestlers. Like, so many wrestlers still stand up for Chris Benoit, even after what happened. So
Well, no,
there's
feel
got to
like,
be some truth to how really decent he was before the drugs took hold.
I think Chris...
And maybe if there was testing by the company beforehand, we wouldn't have had this incident happen.
Oh, I
so
completely
again,
agree with
negligence on the WWE's part.
And that's my big problem with part 2 of this, is that nothing happened to Flair. Flair continued to get a push. Evolution started right after this. Like, Flair was basically, like, given a pat on the back for doing, like, basically, like, sexually assaulting a woman. Like, nothing happened to Ric Flair because of this. He won a title from Hogan, like, a month later.
Okay.
All right. Someone that didn't get off as lucky. Part 3, Goldust.
Aw.
Okay, so also implicated in the same lawsuit was Dustin Rhodes, who, according to Terralyn Capiano, was told that, quote, "You and me are gonna fuck." But the worst part about it, the plane ride for Goldust, was that he got so messed up that he got on the plane's PA system and started singing awkward and slurred serenades to his ex-wife Terry, who was also on the flight, and it got so bad that Jim Ross had to lock him in one of the bathrooms to calm him down. So Goldust, nothing was done to him immediately, although his push went away, and when his contract went out at the end of the year, they did not renew it. Now, obviously, he's gotten a lot better. He's gotten off drugs.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's
turned himself around.
He had a really decent run towards the end in his WWE career, and I mean, he's still doing some stuff in AEW. So
Yeah. But this is bad. This is real bad.
well, the road to redemption, man.
Part 4, Scott Hall.
Oh, gotta love this story.
Yeah. Okay, so this is from Just Incredible. You had Scott Hall, too, out of his mind. Completely out of his mind, shimmying and shaking. Hall didn't last long on the flight before slipping to unconsciousness. But although there were different reports involving his shenanigans, in the time that he was awake, he seemed to have done enough to put the last rites on his WWE career. So, aside from the shaving cream thing that we mentioned earlier, he was also involved in the harassment allegations. The flight attendant Doyle claims that Hall slobbered on her face before telling her he wanted to, quote, lick her pussy, and then he also told Caballano to, quote, suck his dick before immediately passing out so deeply that they had to check his pulse and make sure he was still alive. Just Incredible had to babysit Scott for the rest of the flight, and it was so bad that he had to get a wheelchair and roll him through customs at JFK Airport. He was completely non-responsive, and he remembers Jim Ross sitting in the baggage claim, shaking his head. Hall was fired the next day.
Yeah.
But he did appear at the first TNA pay-per-view like a month later, trying to recreate the Outsiders gimmick to not nearly as much success.
We didn't cover it on the Raw reunion about Scott Hall being asked not to be in the last segment when Stone Cold was handing out beers to all the legends because Scott has a problem with alcohol and takes a certain drug that makes him sick when he drinks alcohol.
Yes.
He's been on the road to recovery for a long time, and with help from DDP and DDP Yoga, he's definitely turned it around, and that's great. Again, that's another redemption story, but
yeah, this was definitely the bottom of the bottom of the barrel for Scott.
He's had several rock bottoms, though.
Yeah,
rock. And I'm not talking about the move.
Yeah, this one was bad. This is real bad. Again, this was all sort of one major lawsuit, so the WWE paid off everybody. All right, the fifth thing I want to talk about, which is a little bit bigger because it involves an incident which leads to another incident which leads to a punishment, would be all about Michael Hayes. Here we go. Yeah, according to Just Incredible, Michael Hayes was, quote, getting real bad, and he's got a lot of heat anyway. Nobody likes him. He was drunk, rowdy as fuck, like being a dick, loud and obnoxious. X-Pac then tells some more of the story. Quote, Hayes almost pissed on Linda McMahon. He was all fucked up, trying to whip his dick out, stoop over, tugging at his trousers. He didn't know it was Linda. He thought he was at the fucking bathroom. And he's like, wait a minute. He just keeps saying, wait a minute, over and over again. Finally, somebody led him to the bathroom. So, that's the first part of the Michael Hayes thing.
How do you keep your job?
It's the weird
He
Cardi
still
rules.
works there.
Yeah, he's still there today.
Okay.
He's still head of talent relations today. Okay, so that all happens. And then X-Pac talks about how he had a match earlier in the night with Bradshaw and how he had a big gash on his head and it was all taped up. So JBL, Bradshaw, sitting there sleeping, and Michael Hayes comes up to him and says, quote, hey, you fucking redneck, and pops him right in the forehead. Opens up his gash, and now Bradshaw's bleeding on his nice suit, busted wide open. Blood goes everywhere. Bradshaw punches Hayes, knocks him out. Everybody stops Bradshaw from going after Hayes because Hayes is the boss and you don't want to get fired. But later on, X-Pac sees Hayes sleeping and decides he's going to get some scissors. And he says, quote, so Hayes is out cold and he's got that fucking thing in a fucking ponytail, that mullet, you know. He was still rocking a mullet. And I said, somebody get me a pair of scissors. I remember Lawler over there just giggling, and everybody's like, no, you're not going to do it. I grabbed those scissors like I was pulling out a pair of taped brass knucks out of my tights. And everybody's looking at me thinking I'm not going to do it. I grabbed that fucking tail, and I lifted up, and I just went whack. And the whole plane erupted, and I was like, yeah. It was a very long yeah.
What year was this?
2002.
This happened in 2002.
Yep.
How do they have scissors on a plane?
Dude.
I mean, with all things considered.
Yeah. No, this whole thing.
Okay.
So, apparently Hayes didn't know till they went through customs. And he's walking and he sees his reflection, and it's like something out of a movie. He went to the back of his head, and he popped out like he was stone cold sober and said, Mother, and it cuts off there, as he's going through customs. And he wants to know who did it, but nobody rats Pac out because nobody liked Hayes. However, less than 2 months later, on July 4th of 2002, X-Pac wrestled his last match and was unceremoniously let go from the WWE.
Okay.
I feel like those are related.
Nah. Not at all.
So you got, of these 5 things, you've got Hayes almost peeing on Vince's wife, hurting talent, and being so drunk that he doesn't even know that his hair just got chopped off. No repercussions.
No.
You've got...
He was a free bird. Let him fly,
got
baby.
Ric Flair running around in a sparkly cape, playing helicopter with his penis. No repercussions.
No, man. He's the nature boy. He was just being au naturel.
And I don't know, man. This is probably one of the lowest moments for the WWE.
But it was when they were making the most money.
Yeah. So, What does that say about us? Like, we liked this stuff.
In it for the giggles.
I guess, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to a new podcast. In it for the giggles.
Hee hee.
It's the Michael Jackson themed podcast. That'd be in it for the bubbles.
There's
right, we should
probably
move
some
on.
kind of weird joke we could make there, but
Yeah.
we probably do need to move on.
I'm not gonna make that joke.
And now, a special Drafty Quarters promotion.
Hey, PPR.
Hey, Doug.
Do you know what day it is?
What's today?
It's July 25th.
Oh, shit.
It's Christmas in July, and we've got a present for you, DQP fans.
Are we introducing the album today?
We are. First, from our new ongoing series, Music from the Drafty Quarters, comes A Stone Cold Christmas, where you'll find such great songs as Jingle Bells.
Oh, hell yeah. We're going to do some jingle bells. Jingle bells, jingle bells. We're going to jingle them all the way. Stomp a mud hole in its ass, and then we walk away. Yeah.
Not only will you hear that, you'll hear such great classics as Silent Night,
Silent night. Pop my beer. I'm going to drink for the rest of the year.
and don't forget such great Christmas classics as Frosty.
Frosty, the cold one, was a beer I drank today. It had a corncob reed, and it said to me that it was trying to get away. I'm drunk.
And remember, that's a Stone Cold Christmas.
Oh, yeah, and remember, if you want to listen to this one, you got to download it now, and you can get special content from me, the Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm going to drop a bow off this and give you one classic Christmas song, one that you'll never forget, brother.
And if you order now on iTunes, WeTunes, UTunes, WeAllTunes, you'll get this special bonus track from the Macho Man.
Joy to the world, I kicked Hulk's ass. Yeah.
That's a Stone Cold Christmas, wherever Tiny Lady is sold.
Why don't we just go ahead and skip that segment and move straight to the Big E saga? Next week, I want to cover an Indies wrestler and do paying some dues. They're paying dues segment where we cover my favorite independent wrestler. PPR almost fell over in his chair because he's full of excitement for this. Joey Ryan.
Ooh, I'm excited for that too.
I would have done it this week, but that plane ride from hell was too interesting.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Dude, it wasn't the segment from hell. You're fine.
No, it felt like it. I felt very cringy saying some of that stuff.
Hey, man, that's what the listeners want. They want the dirt.
They want us to get in there
They want
real
the dirt,
deep.
brother.
They want us
They
to
want to
roll
know
around
all
in it.
about the dirt.
Hulk Hogan wasn't on that plane ride, but if he was, it would have been
Wait.
Hulkamania.
Hulkamania was going to run wild all over.
That's
all
how the
of those
plane
people.
takes off back in the 80s. Hulk put it on his shoulders and ran wild.
Yeah. He just gave it a leg drop and it like tilted the plane up in the air.
There it went.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Palate cleanser.
yeah. We need a happy story. We need a happy story.
Well, this isn't happy.
Oh, well, fuck it.
All right. We got chapter 5 of the Big E Langston saga. If you remember last time, Brock Lesnar cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on the new Cruiserweight champion Xavier Woods and left him in pieces around the ring.
Dismembered.
Yes. Disenchanted dismemberment. All right. Big E, chapter 5. It had been 4 days since the death of his friends. That's 4 sleepless nights remembering the carnage. 4 mornings of long and lonely car rides, trying vainly to figure out why this had happened. 64 hours of workouts alone. Sure, Kofi was still there, but he was just as lost in his thoughts. It was 4 days before Kofi spoke those words. Let's watch the tape. Xavier Woods was the smartest wrestler to ever lace up a boot. He was the Batman of professional wrestling. He always had a backup. So it really shouldn't have shocked Langston to find a USB drive in Woods' locker after that horrible smackdown. It even came with a note for the large one. Don't worry, I'll find a way back. You need to focus on building your team for Survivor Series. I left you a present in my lab to help. And tell Kofi I'm sorry I couldn't be there for his match. It was 4 days since Kofi had read the note. It had been 4 days since Kofi had spoken. Let's watch the tape. It was his last request. We owe him that much. So, of course, they watched the tape. The tape looked to have been made right before his match. Xavier had spotted Heyman peering from behind a door and knew what to expect. He was always smart that way. He had also deduced that it was Helmsley that was behind the whole event and offered a way to get back at the King of Kings. A new day was dawning as Big E and Kofi left for the Raw location. The club would be there, and Big E had a match to accept. He sent his pixie companion to Xavier's lab in Angel Grove, California to retrieve the gift Woods had left him. It would be safer for her there, he thought to himself. He couldn't bear the thought of losing another companion. He looked up towards the driver's seat at Kofi. Big E, of course, being so large he could only fit in the back seat, and wondered if he should send him his way as well. As though reading his mind, Kofi said to him, "He was my brother too, E. You don't have to bear this alone." The next night, Big E opened up Raw by calling out Triple H in the middle of the ring. "I know it was you that sent the beast, and I want to know why." After a theatrical entrance that would make the Undertakers look like a jobber, the game made it to the ring. "You want to know why? You want to know why I sent the beast after your friend? Because he was weak, and so are you." With that, a brawl ensued. Not a match or a fight. A brawl. The King of Kings managed to get outside the ring. "Fine. If that's the way you want to play, at Survivor Series, your IC belt's on the line. If your 5-man team loses, Finn gets the belt back." Big E smiled. Xavier always was intuitive. "Okay, Hunter. But when I win, I'm coming to the NXT TakeOver, and I'm exercising my rematch clause for the NXT Championship. And do you know why? Because New Day rocks. New Day rocks. New Day rocks." And that's it for this chapter of the Big E Langston saga. Join us next week for Survivor Series.
All right, I think we're going to plug.
We should plug.
All right, time to plug it in. If you, want to listen to us more or tweet at us or, give us your thoughts, your feelings, anything that's bothering you, we'll even answer non-wrestling questions. You can follow me at Big Smooth on the Twitter.
With the ED.
You can follow Doug at Woodscale1 on the Twitter. You can follow this very podcast at Crimson Ring Pod on the Twitter as well.
Yeah, and that was us, Peyton and Billy. It's okay. We'd love to have you on the show.
Yes.
All right. You can also email us at draftyq@gmail.com.
And you can follow the production company at DraftyQ on the Twitter as well.
That's right.
So, we're all over the Twitter. We're also on Instagram. I don't know the name for that. PPR, what are we on the Instagram?
Instagram is at DraftyQ as well.
Yeah, and then, we're on Facebook. All you got to do is look up Drafty Quarters Productions. We're everywhere. And you can even listen to this podcast on YouTube now.
We're on the YubTubs?
Yeah. I don't even know what the YubTubs is. That was a weird noise.
That was a super weird noise.
Let's see if it comes through on the podcast later.
I hope not. Well, maybe it should. That way they don't. Oh, what if it's like a ghost noise?
It won't.
It was delightful.
What if it was scary?
No. And we don't know what happened last week.
No.
When
But
we
we
were
do-
trying to do the queso ending.
We do know that that ending was not cheesy.
No, it wasn't near cheesy enough. It was terrifying.
So we're going to give him an extra cheesy ending this week.
This is a super cheesy ending,
Yep.
and are we going to bring him in to do the ending?
Yeah, so a very special cheesy ending from a very special guest.
You can talk about your dames and you can talk about your DQP does. Well, Crimson Ring 316 says you just listened to a podcast, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. This was the Crimson Ring on the DQP Podcast Network. And in the meantime, folks, remember, if you want the crowd to pop, just get some color.
Welcome to the Outtakes. I'm Russell, and I'll be your host.
Hey there, Drafty Quarters fans. It's Christmas in July, and that means we've got a present for you. We've started a new label here at Drafty Quarters, calling it DQPN Does Music. That's not very good either.
That's perfect. What the fuck?
You can just edit this shit together. I'm not good at improv, apparently.
Why don't you guys do the beginning together?
Sorry.
As long as it's funny, I don't care.
That's great, Doug, but you know what one I'm really excited to hear?
What's that, PPR?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and the first time I saw it, I didn't know what to do. I was very scared. I shot it with my 12-gauge shotgun. Then I popped another cold one, dropped a fucking stunner, and if you would have seen it, you would have ran, brother. I don't fucking know what to sing to that one. I tried.
That's good.
Okay, whatever. Edit that however you want.
That's a Stone Cold Christmas from DQP Records.
Oh, hell yeah, son.
Available wherever you buy Tiny Lady. Hey there, Drafty Quarters fans. Have we got a treat for you? It's July 25th, and that means it's Christmas in July. The Crimson Ring is proud to present our first in our new CD collection, Tales from the Wrestlers. That's not right. Edit.
Why can't it just be Stone Cold Christmas?
Well, I want a series.
Okay.
First in our new CD series.
Call it Christmas in Kayfabe. No, I guess that would just be Christmas songs because we'd have to keep doing them. And I don't want the marching man to have to sing, but I will have to.
He's going to do our Labor Day album.
What?
Okay. We're just going to start all over.
Should you do it like...
I'm too drunk to taste this chicken.
Too drunk to chase this corncob pipe. I'm going to shove it up your ass and walk it dry.
I wish I could do a rock.
God, dude.
I'm going to take this carrot nose. I'm going to turn it sideways.
Frosty, the cold one, had a cold one with corncob reed. I dropped him on his stack of dimes he called a neck, and I put him out with a fucking stunner. Goodbye, corncob reed. But
I didn't think we were doing that, but okay.
professionally unprofessional.